This week I played Fallout 76. So this game is getting hated on a lot by a lot of people. I mean, pretty much anywhere you go when the game is being discussed, someone has something bad to say about it. And I think that a lot of what is bad is being said about it isn't necessarily because it's a terrible game, because, like, sure, it's a fun game, but, like, I think most of the problems people have with it, it's just kind of a bad Fallout game. And it doesn't help that it's the same price as any other AAA title. £50 is a lot of money to spend. I talked a little bit before about the things you should know before you buy Fallout 76, like the pros and cons of the game, and that all pretty much stands true even till now. Obviously, now I've put more hours into it. Level 27 now, I believe. And I've done plenty of live streams, played it all off camera and stuff like that. So, you know, like, I have a really strong handle on what there is, the game does have to offer. Now, I don't want this video to seem too negative. I don't think that, like, people have pretty much had enough about hearing the negative side of this game. A lot of anger and kind of, like, betrayal felt on, like, a lot of sides, I think. Which, again, like, I kind of feel like they have every right to be upset. Like, up until now, like, the Fallout game has always been a certain way. Like, there are a lot of people who thrive on that role-playing type scenario. And then I think that what Bethesda has tried to do is they've tried to say, okay, well, you know, people like the role-playing. How about we make it completely the adventure all in your head? We could remove almost all story elements except an audiobook, which is great, and a couple of robots. And in an online game, by the way, sitting there reading text and listening to audio logs when you're supposed to be communicating with other players and supposed to be making your own stories. So, you know, that mechanism they use for storytelling has been absolutely awful. I think a lot of the problems have just been ideology-based problems. Like, they love the idea that every player you see is going to be, or every human you see is going to be another player, which, you know, sounds great on paper, but when it comes down to it, it doesn't really work. You need some sort of NPCs out there to kind of progress through the story, which obviously they realize, which is why they put NPCs in the form of robots. There are lots of robots in the game. And Rose, for instance, who's the Raider robot, who you kind of think that she's a person, but because they've already said there are no humans in the game other than, you know, actual humans, you know, it's when you get up to the top of that tower, it's not going to be another person up there, because, well, they've already said there's not going to be any people, so it kind of spoils that fun, doesn't it? Bethesda obviously know that you need some sort of storytelling mechanic, some element in the game to be able to push the story forward, which is why they introduced the robots in the first place. And a lot of people are saying, and kind of like rightly so, if you add in robots that can talk and that can take the place of people, why not just add in people? They're more interesting. They have better voice lines, more voice lines, in fact. In fact, a lot of the voice lines from the robots are recycled from Fallout 4. You know, it just seems like their compromise has ended up just, you either have it one way or the other. Either you have nothing in the game, you know, nothing that can talk to you, nothing that can interact with you, nothing that will take their place, or you have NPCs, you have people in there that can, like, progress story and push narrative and stuff like that. But this kind of middle ground, it just seems to not hit any marks. Now, I said I don't want to talk too negatively about the game, and there is plenty of things you can read up on Reddit and, like, Twitter. Pretty much click on any post that Fallout makes these days, and they'll just have a ton of complaints just being directed their way. So I'm sure the guys at Bethesda have got their, you know, they've got their trays full at the minute, and I will say this about the company is they listen to their fans, they take things on board. Now, I hope their pride doesn't get in the way and that they kind of double down on this, but, like, I think the game could just be improved immensely by just adding people in. Like, suggestions have been thrown around, maybe some other vaults open or have opened, like a little while ago, that can just flood the land with people, with quests that can send you on your way, give you objectives to do, kind of play through, and you don't have to worry so much about like other players killing vital NPCs, because they've already made up their mind that certain quest NPCs are going to be invincible, like Rose, for instance. I lost my mind and nearly tried to blow her head off, but it wouldn't work. It doesn't matter how many times I shot her, she wouldn't take any damage. So they can just copy and paste that over to any NPC that they think is vital towards story or plots or, you know, just quests in general. There's no reason why they can't do that. The bits I like about the game, I like the fact that there is base building that you can interact. I would like to see more in there, and maybe not so much gating. For us to be able to just kind of do things out the gate would be quite fun, as opposed to kind of scrounging around trying to find a blueprint for a brick wall. It's like, come on, we can figure that out. If we can build a water purification, like, thing, then I'm sure we can figure out walls, you know? I like the guns. They all seem to be quite interesting. They got like new arrangement of guns. Like you got the powder, like old timey musket type guns as well. The miniguns seem to look. I don't know if they changed the model, but you got like nice paint jobs. The power armor is quite nice. I love the excavator power armor. There's lots of interesting good gear in the game, and that is positive. There are plenty of enemies. Like combat's really fun. That's for certain. Although I did notice when I was playing, people running past locations they're in make enemies respawn on top of you, which is a bit annoying. So I think that there's some sort, again, probably an ideology problem there. But it seems like maybe an online Fallout game doesn't necessarily work in the format that is in. Because often you just find yourself frustrated, banging your head against the wall. Like, why is this happening? I just cleared out this entire building of enemies, and they all just respawned right on top of me. No, I understand, like, why that might be the case. I mean, if you've got a server with lots of people on it, with areas that hit quite regularly, you're going to find yourself constantly coming to that area, and everyone's already been killed, and you're going to think, oh, well, you know, when's my turn to start, like, you know, fighting and looting and stuff like that. But then again, that is something you have to deal with online games. Like, if you've ever played World of Warcraft, you know that there will be certain areas where people farm and that the enemies just like take forever to spawn. That's just a part of playing online. You know, you're gonna have to realize that you can't get rid of every annoyance because these things have been carefully crafted by masters, you know, of their genre. They know what they're doing. They like, if a game is a certain way and if it's annoying in a certain way, it's most likely because the alternatives are even worse. There's a reason why Blizzard makes so many billions of dollars. But again, looting, junks. Fun, I guess. I would like to see the weight values of junk and ammo just hit 0. There's no reason why it should take up weight from a technical standpoint, of course. Like if you maybe max, like cap ammo, so you can only take 999 of ammo, any ammo type, of course, and then you just reduce the weight to 0. And any key items, even like fusion cores and stuff, maybe put a weight value on fusion cores as a kind of like maybe a limiter because you don't want people to have too many. I don't know. And maybe that's a game style choice. But yeah, these are all things that are talked about a lot, you know. And apparently the stash size is going up. Hopefully they'll revisit some of these other weight values as well, because weight values shouldn't be such a punishing issue in this game. It would be normally on like normal survival games, although maybe not. I've not noticed it this much in other games, for instance, and other survival games, for instance. There isn't a cap on how many things you can own permanently. You know, like Conan, for instance, or Ark. You know, you can have as much stuff as you want in your server. You just put down another box and you fill that box up. You put down another chest, you fill that chest up. You put down some more wardrobes, you fill that wardrobe up. You know, you're not saying, okay, you only get 400 weight. You know, that's it. That's all you get, buddy. And maybe some more if you put on excavator armor, you can get an extra 100 on your person. But yeah, the landscape, the map size, it's all great. There's a lot of interesting things there. They've definitely put in work into the level. And this is the thing. This is what a lot of people are saying is the game, kind of like the grounding is great. You know, they've got a great foundation to kind of build on. Their map is really nice. You've got great looking scenes, you've got great looking enemies, you've got everything kind of like looks great, you know? I mean, like the bugs, sure, there are bugs present, but let's be honest, I mean, it's a Bethesda game, there are going to be bugs. You know, that's something we all learned to live with a long time ago. So, I mean, I've not really experienced anything game breaking, like too much. There's some annoyances like being logged out and losing my camp, being logged out and losing my workshop items. Or like I lost all my fusion cores because I put them on an extra frame, and apparently that's not okay. But you know, they just all deleted, they disappeared. So like bugs, sure, like graphical ones, animations, yeah, they're all present. But as far as I'm concerned, they're just funny, you know. As long as it doesn't interfere so much with the gameplay, I'm happy to see them, to be honest. But where it really gets people with this game is that they feel that they've paid for a game that isn't finished, and I understand that, I really do, because it's like, this could be great, this could be amazing, but it feels unfinished. It feels like they've gone, okay, well, we've built the world, we've built the weapons, we've built the enemies, we've built the map, we've even put some quests in there, some environmental quests. You know, the ones you get on Fallout 4 where you're just walking around and you're like, oh, this is a quest, there's a kid in a fridge, hey. But what they've really lacked, or what they haven't done, is they haven't made it a game, you know, they haven't pushed a story, not a real one. An audiobook doesn't count for a story, if you ask me. Especially in an online game, like I've said before, where you're supposed to be paying attention to what's happening. You're sitting there reading the terminal and like hacking or picking a lock, or repairing a gun, or building a gun, or just cycling through your inventory. And then, oh look, I've just been attacked by a group of 20 ghouls, or, there's mole rats nipping at my toes. So all these things would be fine in like a normal online setting. That's all to be accepted. But when you're trying to sit down reading 5 pages of text to figure out what happened to this woman who was trying to like figure out some water things, or if you're listening to Rose babble on for 20 minutes about, I don't know, I tried to kill her and jump off the building, but I absolutely lost my mind. It was so mind-numbingly boring. It's like you're being forced to play a certain way, and if you don't like that type of game, then I guess you're screwed. You spent 50 quid on babbling and text and nonsense. It's not what Fallout fans are expecting. I kind of feel like I get they wanted to try something new. That's great and everything. But maybe they shouldn't have called it Fallout 76. Maybe they should have tried with something else first. Maybe Bethesda should have gone, okay, let's test the waters. We want to make this type of game. How about we don't submit one of our big franchises, one of our money-making franchises, to potential destruction, and our fans being so angry at us because we've essentially like made them pay for something that they thought they were going to get, but then end up being something else. And I get that they were very outspoken about like what the game's going to be like and stuff like that, but we still have expectations. As it's called Fallout, you still expect it to be an RPG. You still expect certain things from the game. And when they don't deliver on these things, it naturally makes people quite upset. Now, I like the game. Sure, I like the game. I like another Fallout game. Sure, I like another Fallout game. But do I like the fact I spent £50 on it? No, I don't. There are a lot of games that I would have rather spent £50 on. Especially the fact we're getting like a Switch this Christmas. There was plenty of games on the Switch I would have loved to have put £50 on, and I would not be disappointed whatsoever. I would not have gone back on it. But I feel like maybe £25-30 is a good price. Now, if they promise, like if they deliver on the promises of free DLCs, supporting the game, extra content, etc., etc., which, like I said before, they probably don't want to tarnish their reputation, so most likely they're going to kind of deliver on this stuff. But, there is always the chance that it didn't sell enough copies, so as from a business standpoint, maybe they drop it. But then again, I don't know. We'll have to kind of see what happens in the future. But if they do deliver on that promise and provide an extra content, then maybe it would start being worth the money they've asked for it, like supporting a game in early access, for instance. But right now, people are upset, But I think what we need to do, like, if you don't like the idea, maybe if you have plenty of money, you don't mind putting the money down on it, you enjoy the game, then sure, fine, why not? Then go ahead. But if you think that maybe you don't want to pop down £50 on a game that like doesn't really have all that many features and stuff like that, then maybe wait for a sale, and then you tend to find that you'll get your money's worth, I mean, better still, if you haven't got Fallout 4, I think you can pick it up for like a tenner now, like Game of the Year edition. It's like crazy cheap, and it has tons of content. I mean, even better still, buy Fallout 3, Fallout New Vegas, install Tale of Two Wastelands, like mash those two games together, you've got yourself a super game, and you'll be playing it for the next 6 months. And that will probably cost you just a few quid. So, it's a difficult one, isn't it? But then again, those fans that have played all of the Fallout games through 1 till 4.5, what is this? It's weird, because I wouldn't consider New Vegas a new game. I call it 3.5, because it uses all the assets from number 3. But they made so much effort to make it its own game, and I think that's what really stands out, and I think that's what people are expecting with this one. You've got Fallout 3, an amazing game. Then Fallout New Vegas, even better by a lot of people's standards. And it uses all the assets from the number 3, and people, like obviously they have like things going around in their head. Is it going to be any good? They've recycled a lot of content. Is it just going to be a cash grab? But if you ask me, and you ask a lot of other people, New Vegas, it was an amazing game, regardless of the fact that a lot of assets were reused. So then obviously they're reusing a lot of assets from 4. People were thinking, maybe we'll get the same, But in reality is, like, they copy and pasted a lot of locations. You've got like the churches, for instance, that were in Concord. I've seen it so many times. You've got that stupid annoying biplane that's just been pasted everywhere. There is a lot of it just seems like a lot of corners cut, and maybe it's because like development time was a lot shorter. I don't know. I don't want to kind of make too many guesses and assumptions and stuff like that. But like I've said before, I enjoy playing the game, and I will probably continue playing the game. I've got my power armor now, so I don't know how much content is left in the game. I'm not really a social player. I don't tend to kind of enjoy the whole, like, bringing up parties, trying to figure out, like, what we're going to do, spend 2 hours, like mopping people up and then go for a fight, you know. Like, I did that in WoW when I was younger, and I don't have the energy for it anymore, you know. Like, Scorch Queens, yeah, it sounds like a great idea, but it's a lot of effort to put in, you know, and essentially all you're just doing is you're getting more of the same. You get another power armor plan, you get some rare materials that you could probably, like, search for elsewhere. Oh yeah, I don't know, it's a difficult one, I think, but time we'll have to see, I suppose. When mods come out, I think that maybe people hopefully will kind of mod some more interesting gameplay things in, maybe some extra quests. Like, it'll be interesting to see that aspect of the game shine, because obviously it's not something that was necessary in modding in Fallout 4. You have extra quests and NPCs and voice acting and stuff, but not on this scale. So maybe we can kind of like mod in a settlement, or what was it, that hotel of all the vendors and stuff. Is it White Springs? I forget. Maybe you could put people in it, you know? Well, like, crazy idea, yeah? Maybe you can make that as a communal hub where you can merge servers together. You can have large amounts of people just like trading, commercing, you know? That's the type of thing that people wanted. Fix the trade system, you know? If they could just fix, you know, like, make it what people were expecting, you know, make it what Bethesda were trying to sell, then I think that would be enough, you know, that would definitely be enough. But I've waffled on for long enough, I think. So yeah, this is this week I played. I know I've been playing it for more than a week, but you know, it's what I've been playing a lot this week. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Hit like and subscribe, and I'll catch you next week. Ciao.